Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to Jackocar. This is the Kia Series, the final season of the Kia Series. We're here live for round number 2, the Belgian Grand Prix. I'm your commentator, Peter Nyden. There is no Gareth Hall here today. He is currently away on family business. Therefore, will not be joining me in the commentary box. I am here solo and will be taking you through the 22 laps of this Grand Prix. 4 jokers for you tonight to be looking out for doing the one stop, but we're expecting a 20 car grid. We've got 18 at the moment, and while we wait for the final 2, if we wait for them at all, because we're being a little bit more strict going into this season, if they don't turn up, it's a little bit of tough luck they're having. So as we get into this, the 4 jokers, as I mentioned, there'll be 4 jokers. We've got Yuri Hazelager, Danny Quinn, Jacko, and who's the 4th one? Sullivan Lewis. They are your 4 jokers for tonight. Keep an eye out on them. We're looking for one of those 4 drivers to be taking victory and sealing a position in the playoffs, as Ben Harriet did last week at Monaco after having a tantalising battle throughout the Grand Prix all the way to the end with Matt Shepherd, who unfortunately ended up getting not only 1 3-second time penalty, but 2 3-second time penalties that kept him in second place, but he is now in the running for a playoff spot as well. Hopefully he can keep that form and maybe even snatch a win away from one of these Jokers drivers going into the Grand Prix. I believe we're getting things ready to go. Jess is giving the green light, and it looks like we're going to get underway for qualifying. New format, as mentioned last week with qualifying. It used to be reverse championship order, so whoever was at the bottom would go out first, and whoever was at the top would go out last in the session, so we would see the fastest drivers at the end of the qualifying session. However, we are now seeing the top of the championship going out first, and the bottom of the championship going out last in qualifying, to give it a little bit more of a mixy grid, because as we know, with the Formula 1 games, track evolution happens as more and more drivers goes on and the time goes through the session. So hopefully we'll have a much closer grid, and we won't always see those drivers towards the front, and a nice mixed up grid. When we get some weather, we know what Spa's like when it comes to rain. We've seen it, we've witnessed it in real life. Will it stay dry? If it's a wet race, that would certainly benefit the Joker drivers, but hopefully it's mixed conditions, just to throw a little bit of spice into this Belgian Grand Prix. Dry qualifying from the looks of things at the moment, and our first driver that will be taken to the grid, to the track, will be last week's race winner, Ben Harriet, and he'll be going out in about 40 seconds, I believe. I do have, let me just find it, the qualifying order saved in my collection. I am very professional at this, as you may tell. I didn't also just wake up about half an hour ago from a nap from a long day at work, but we move. I was actually quite worried that I might sleep in and miss the whole damn thing. But here we are, live, back again in the comms box for the Kia Series. No fancy graphics, as Gareth always puts up, because I just don't have a computer to have the facility. I do not have the facilities for that, big man, realistically. So we will leave it to the box standard streaming of a PlayStation Pleb. So Mr. Harriet should be first man out on the track. We'll go on board with him, and here he is. Rocking the basic livery that Codemasters has decided to give us. A nice broad selection of cars and liveries we can choose from. Thank you, Codemasters, for providing such another fantastic game. And if you can't hear that sarcasm, you really need to sort yourself out. Because not a lot of people are a fan of this game. There are auto-spin curbs. There's still the lock-up glitch with the smoke going into corners. And yeah, everything's just backwards. But it wouldn't be Jackocar without a little bit of chaos. As we see Ben trying to get a little bit of heat. Ah, yes! it takes a very long time for tyres to heat up as well. You have to really be pushing on your outlap to get any form of heat in the tyres. Realistically, if you were doing a standard qualifying session where everyone goes out at the same time, you'd want to do an outlap, then another lap, basically 2 outlaps, just to get the tyres up to optimal temperature and then do a fast lap. But with this track being such a long circuit and with such fast flowing corners, it shouldn't take too long to get these tyres up to temperature into their optimal window and set a quick time. We're looking at, I would say, the mid to low 1 minute 40s in qualifying, especially in Kia Series. You'll be looking at the very low 1 minute 40s in the Cup Series when they do race around Spa. So, then coming into the final sector, we've got Matt Shepherd going out for his out lap as well. We'll go on board with him after we watch an entire lap with Ben Spurs. Keep it within the white lines, and you're like to be starting towards the front. With the pace you have, especially after winning last week in Monaco and in the Cup Series at the Super Speedway, he exits the bus stop chicane nice and early on the power to start his flying lap into turn 1. I would suggest maybe shifting into the 3rd or 2nd gear, nice and tight, and late exit to use the exit curb, and now up to one of the most awe-inspiring corners on the entire F1 calendar, up Eau Rouge and Raidillon. That just gradient of track is just amazing, just to see the cars grip and stick to it and not go over the top and flying into the air because of the downforce. Right, at the end of sector 1, they'll obviously have the purple time. We will have some of these up. It's always good to see. So we can see what EOS is using, when he's likely to be using that overtake mode, just to get a little bit more straight line speed. But don't use it too early, too quickly, because you'll derate and you won't have any battery for the end of the lap. Plenty of straights on this track, so you want as much battery as you can for the entirety of it. Now into the middle sector. Is obviously going to be purple throughout. Realistically, you don't want to be touching that corner through Pouan and then into Campus. Finally into Stavelot to end the 2nd sector. And the 15.6 is what 1:15.6 is what I'm going to be using as a benchmark realistically after the first 2 sectors as he runs down through towards Blanchemont. Full flat through here. In the wet, it can be a little bit tricky to try and go flat, maybe a little lift. But in the dry, full flat, then the heavy braking into the bus stop chicane. Try and take the apexes nice and tidy. And there you go, he's depleted the battery early, but it's not too bad. A 1:44.0 is the target time to beat. On to Matt Shepherd. P2, last time out in Monaco. Let's see if we can find his name. There it is. He's now coming through Stavelot. A second down in after the first 2 sectors, so probably just keeping it nice and cautious, keeping it within the white lines, as he's already used all of his battery, so he's really going to kill him now for this final sector. It's just a straight and essentially 1 braking zone, 2 corners, and when we run up to the line, it's going to be a 1:45.4, 1.5 seconds pretty much off the pace, as we've got yellow flags flashing in sector 1 through Les Combes, just probably drivers getting out of the way of each other. Radio. Up next, it would have been, but instead it's going to be Daniel on the run towards Blanchemont in his red, white and black livery. A couple of sponsors on there as well. Into the bus stop chicane. After snatching a podium away from Harry Collier, he did 38 and a half laps of the track. Daniel up to P2, 38 and a half laps before putting it into the wall like Waze did last week at the Novo chicane. I'm wondering if you'll enjoy me talking about that. Next, Jacko. I believe he finished P4 last week in Monaco in that just bog standard white and a little bit of lime green. Trying to look a bit like a Braun GP car. Up to the line, anywhere near Ben Spurs' benchmark. It's into the 44s, but still 9.5 tenths off our pole sitter at the moment. Up next, That was our first Joker, by the way. Jacko, first Joker, so I think he'll be pretty happy with that. On to our second Joker of the night, Speedway Racer, or Yuri. Not using his alter ego of the Belarusian Yuri. Not quite yet. If he gets qualified through to the playoffs, he might switch accounts and decide to take his alter ego. But he has invalidated. That's not going to look good for the Dutchman. But starting at the back at this track isn't always the worst. It's not like Monaco where track position is key. There are plenty of places to overtake at. And we'll see what Yuri would have set as he enters very gingerly into the final sector. It would have been a 1:44.062. So if he was able to keep it within the white lines, he would have been very close to pole position there. But unfortunate for Yuri, he'll be starting towards the back, as long as everyone else can keep it within the white lines. Next, I believe, will be Mr. Baza or Rico. We'll go Rico first. That is going up to Rouge and Radion. Where is Baza? I do not see his name. Jacko, I know. No, Jacko. Oh, you hate this. Oh, it must be Rico then. Because Baz is only just going into turn Lecom. So I would suggest it is Rico. See, what is this? Now I can't find the bloody name. There we go. Here he is. Into the bus stop chicane. Will he get anywhere near Ben Spur's time? And our second Dutch driver on track to the line. It is the slowest time set so far, but it is a valid one. 47.2 for Rico. He is our first of two free agents driving tonight. Now I believe it will be Mr. Baza. There he is. As he comes towards Stavolo in his Braun GP livery. So far, kept it within the white lines. Right. Oh, what do you mean I'm out of stories? Go away, Google. You're useless. I don't want to know. I just want to access my photos. There we go. Thank you very much. Yeah, after Baz across the line, 46.8. Which must have been invalidate. What? Unless you saw him invalidate. I don't remember seeing him invalidate. I didn't see the red outlines on the track map. But anyway, he'll be starting towards the back. With Jess starting P4 with a 45.4. We're looking at 45s at the moment. Only two drivers to break into the 144s at the moment. Anyone have an opportunity to break into the 143s? We'll find out as we go on board with our second free agent, Matt Rosamond. Finally getting a day off work from Aston Martin, running the Aston Martin green colours, representing. Hopefully he can put on a good performance for them and himself, as it's been a while since he's raced in the Kia series. Deployment has been used yet again from another driver, so they're not seem to make it to the bus stop chicane just yet. Newgarden, slowest time of everyone, 1:47.4. But it is a time on the board. Up next, Mr. Harry Collier. A man, extremely disappointing result last week. Was on board for a guaranteed podium in Monaco. Hopefully he'll be able to survive all 22 laps here in Belgium in his purple livery. Running the 21, my old number, back in season 1 of Jackocar, and it won me the title. So what can Harry Collier do, as we've got a car just moving out of the way into the bus stop chicane. Jacko looking very happy with the front row at the moment. He'll be happy with that if he stays there. Harry Collier to the line. It's P4, another 145. Slots in between Dan and Jess. Up next, the German, Mike Kettelborn. I believe making his full-time debut in the Kia Series this season. But he has invalidated, so he will be joining Yuri and Baza towards the back end of the grid, having invalidated their lap times. So we will go on board with Mr. Danny Quinn. Hopefully he can keep it on the track, out of the walls, and his controller connected to his PlayStation for the entirety of this Grand Prix. There you go, 1:15.6, so it's looking close to him to snatch a front row start. He just has to have the battery to run all the way to the line now. He's used overtake on the exit of Stavolo. He's got a little bit of traffic up in front. I'm sure they won't get in the way. That might be Newgarden, which gets out of the way. Into the bus stop chicane. Oh, a little bit deep on the first apex. But nice and early on the power. Overtake mode activated, and it is P2. Ahead of Jacko, but still anyone yet to top Ben Spurs' provisional pole time of 1:44.0. Get him out of Kia. Get him. He got a race win. He's through in the playoffs in Cup, and you've decided to drag him into the Kia Series. Look at this. You're just handing him a trophy. Just a handout. A bit like yours, 2 Kia Series championships as well. Up next, Dustin, our Joker last week, who unfortunately crashed out in a very peculiar way. I think he might have hit the wall through the swimming pool section and then went straight on at Raskas. It caused his retirement. I also had a fantastic overtake through Mirabeau on Dustin as he slots himself into P8 with a 1:45.6. Hopefully he can turn it around this week as we go on board with our 4th and final Joker driver. Our current reigning Kia Series champion, all in pink as per usual. He's used all his battery, so that's not going to help him with the run up to the line, especially for this final section of the straight towards the bus stop. Is it a straight? It's not really. Oh, and he loses the back end out of the bus stop. First driver I've seen do that so far. That's not going to be good for him. He keeps the lap time valid. He's going to be very annoyed with that. It looks like he's going to be starting well towards the back. Slowest time on the board of a 1:48.9. We're still going to be starting ahead of Yuri. And he's going to be doing some donuts or just put himself in the wall with his disappointment of that lap. Florian is next. Another German, I believe. If it's wrong, tough. You're German now. Nice and tidy towards Stavolo in his black and orange livery. I believe that's Sully's number 37, so I feel like the game's broken in a way where it's giving drivers the wrong numbers. I'm not 100% sure. I'll just quickly go on board with Sully before he finishes his lap. That's it, yeah. Ooh, bit of controversy. 2 drivers running the number 37. But can Florian knock Ben Harriet off the top of the grid? He can't, but he gets in the 1:44s. He's ahead of Jacko. Jacko slowly tumbling down the order. He was second with a lot of drivers set of time. He's now down onto the second row with Florian just ahead of him. Jamie Griffiths. Jamie. Oh, you naughty man. I was just about to go on board with you. And you just slotted yourself just ahead of Florian. And Jacko falling further and further down the grid. But just remember, it won't matter too much about Jacko, because everyone except Quinn ahead of him will have to make an extra pit stop. Let's see yellow flags towards Les Combes. We're coming to the end of this qualifying session. Only 4 drivers, I believe, left to set a time. Michelle, I believe, is not here, which is fantastic. Matt Lester is not here. So those are the 2 drivers that are missing. Looks like it's going to have to be Rage Man next. Robin. And I believe the number 52. Yeah, Florian, it says here you should be number 57, not 37. You change that right now. Robin invalidated before we've even ended the first sector. He'll be very disappointed. He'll be starting at the very back. So, all pressure and eyes lie on you, Scott. Riding the number 15. Last man out on track. We're going to watch an entire lap of you in your pink and black liveried car. Can you keep it valid? Can you get anywhere inside the top 10? You should do. All you have to do is get in the mid 145s and you're inside the top 10. Keep it within the white lines. Keep it out of the walls. I know it's a tough task for yourself, but hopefully you can manage it. One of two DRS straights. The run down towards Lake Carmen on the Camel Straight. First one descends at the start of the lap, exit the bus stop, run up towards La Source. And at the moment, it's looking good. Second sector split time is like, because that's the one I've really been keeping an eye on, what it's like after the first two sectors, because then it's all about your braking and exits into the bus stop chicane and up to the line through Pouan. In the previous games, you really don't want to be touching those inside curbs because they would spin you out. So it would not be surprised if they're extra spinny on this game, considering how auto spin a lot of the curbs are now. They just like to give the tyres a lot of grip for some reason, and the car just likes to rotate a bit too much and you just lose the back end. So Scott, he's kept the battery going all the way. Will he have a little bit left over on his run up to the bus stop? He's used it all once again, and he's ran wide. Oh, Scott, what are you doing, man? You just had to keep it within the white lines. It's at the end of the lap, son. I'm not sure it would have been quick enough to be challenging anywhere near the top 5. But up to the line, it would have been a 1:45.9. It would have been P11, but you, sir, are starting 16th. And that's qualifying for the second round of the Kia Series Season 8 here in Jackocar. As Ben Harrett, first out on track, has basically done what Khalifa did back in Australia in one of the earliest seasons of Cup Series, when I got blocked by Jess on my qualifying lap and managed to start second. It would have been pole position for myself, but it's proof here that Ben Harrett is too quick. That's Ben from Quinn, Jamie, Florian, Jacko, Daniel, Harry, Jess, Matt Shepherd, Dustin, Rico, Matt Rosamond, Risky, and the rest. We don't care about the rest. The rest don't matter. You're towards the back. Yeah, I believe Yuri's one of them. Yeah. So what? From the looks of things, it's going to be a dry race, unless there's any weather to add a little bit of spice towards the end. But at the moment, from what I can see and what I've been told, it's going to be a dry session. So we'll be looking at the one-stoppers probably doing a medium to hard or hard to medium, because the soft tyres aren't really a good tyre on this game. The hards are the best tyre. They're very durable. They could probably do this entire race if they wanted to. But what you got to remember is we have some stages to look out for. If only I knew what the stages were. That'd be good of me. I'll have a quick look if I can. There should be one in the tweet. One in the tweet. There should be one in the tweet. Yeah, laps 7 and 17. So you can make your first pit stop after lap 3. Whoever's leading at the end of lap 7, if you're new to Jackocar, if you're at the end of leaving, if you're leading at the end of lap 7, you get a playoff point. If you're leading at the end of lap 17, you get a playoff point. Stage 2 opens and the pit window opens at the end of lap 18. And that's when all the drivers should be making their final pit stops. I'll be looking, two stoppers probably be looking at medium softs. And if I was a Joker driver, I would start on probably the mediums and go from there. Maybe even start on hards and just stretch it. We've got safety cars on reduced, I believe, because we know what Kia Series is like. They love bringing out a safety car. And realistically, I was expecting a little bit more in Monaco with how that circuit runs. And as we can see, there is one driver who loves to break the rules, as he does in the Cup Series, and I believe that is Mr. Risky Racer. He does this in the Cup. He just likes to storm off ahead, but realistically, it's the right thing to do. You need to warm up your tyres to get you through to the grid. Actually, we don't need you. Don't need you. Actually, we might need you in a bit. But drivers are going to be wanting to heat their tyres up. So, as I got down to Risky, Sullivan, it was Yuri, Mike, Scott, Robin, and Bazza. Mixture of tyre choices. A lot of drivers opting to start on softs. That's Jamie, Florian, Daniel, Harry, Dustin, Rico, Matt, Mike, Robin, and Bazza. No Joker drivers are starting on the softs. Everyone else is on mediums, including our pole sitter Ben Harrett. So that'll be Quinn, Jacko, Sullivan, and Yuri, all to look out for, as they will try and stretch those mediums as long as they can. Probably hoping for a safety car at the point of pitting. As long as it's after lap 3, they can box whenever they want. They don't have to wait until the end of lap 17 to be boxing for their second stop. Right then. Was it risky? I'm actually going to see if it was risky. Pulling the old jump and run. Yep, he's already... After a very disappointing qualifying session, he's already down to the bus stop chicane. But the issue with that is he's going to be sitting on the grid and his tyres are just going to be getting colder and colder and colder. So whatever he is looking to put into them will probably be disappearing. Anyway. Alright, we'll go on board or back to the leaders. That's where we want to see the five red lights go out from. And we'll see if there is any chaos on this first lap. Let's keep it nice and clean, boys. It's the final season of Kia Series, the last time here at Spa-Francorchamps. Let's put on a good show, as a few cars have already been disqualified. Looks like Rico and Dustin have had a collision before even making it to the grid. And I believe Sullivan managed to park it within. Quinn has decided to point his car directly towards Ben. As we go, I want to be on board with this one. That camera angle is just shocking. Here we go then. For those famous words, why are the lights glitching? Here's boogity, boogity, boogity. And let's go racing here in Belgium. Good start from Ben Harrett. Quinn looks like he's going to have to defend into turn 1, but he turns the defence into attack. He tries to go around the outside. We've got a few drivers dropping back further down the field as they fight for positions on this early stage. It's Ben from Danny, Jamie, Florian, Daniel and Jacko are your top 6 at the moment. But it looks like Ben might lose the lead here from Mr. Danny Quinn. Down towards Lacombs for the first time. Let's change this camera angle. Let's see what it looks like. But no, Ben Harry looks like he's held on. Both burnt quite a bit of battery at this early stage. Can they recover it as easily? A few drivers, I believe, might have underfueled. Jamie's underfueled, as you can see, with that yellow fuel indicator on the telemetry. But further back, Newgarden's dropped behind Robin for P15 and 16. But at the moment, everyone's sort of within a second, as Risky's had a fantastic start. He's already battling Dustin through Pouon. Lets him have the position. Both run wide. You'll probably get a track limit warning for that. At this first lap, any damage for anyone? They've all kept it nice and clean, as there's a little bit of front wing flying for Yuri. That's not what you're supposed to be doing, boys. Your teammates, for crying out loud. Gareth Hall is probably tearing his hair out if he was watching this, as you made contact. Yuri with the wing damage. Both of them fighting on the Jokers. That's going to hurt Yuri more than it is Sullivan at the moment. Jacko has fallen back quite a way at the moment. He's already lost 1.6 seconds. Come on, Jacko. I thought he had a bit more pace than this. As Ben leads the way at the end of lap 1. He has gained himself another playoff point for leading a lap in this Grand Prix. Quinn already out of DRS as it is activated this lap. So he's going to be under pressure from Jamie on the run up to Lake Oms. Let's go on board with Jamie. Is he close enough? You'll get a lovely slipstream up here. You feel like you just gain so much time through Eau Rouge and Radion. Will he get anywhere near? He's just burning the battery. I don't think it's worth it. He's not going to be close enough. And he moves further back. There is Mike and Harry going side by side. Mike looking like he might have a move up the inside of Dustin. Mike getting the Jackocar rules out, pushes Dustin out, but he becomes a crop for himself into the gravel and loses 1-2 positions to Matt Shepherd and Harry as Harry goes for a move up the inside of Dustin. And now into No Name Fozzie Bear. 10-second time penalty for overtaking car, gaining a position off track. I believe that was when them Mike and Dustin were side by side, and that's just cost him 10 seconds. He'll have to serve that in the pit stops, but this is the battle we want to see. Battle of the midfield. It'll be Harry Collier leading the way ahead of Dustin, Matt, Mike, Robin, Jess, Bazza, Rico and Scott. Following it through side by side between Dustin and Matt Shepherd through Blanchimont. Don't hit each other, boys. Leave enough, plenty of space. We do not want an airplane crash. Here comes Mike to get involved as well. 2x2 into the bus stop chicane. Harry side by side with Matt Shepherd. And Dustin side by side with Mike as we end lap 2 to start lap 3. Absolute chaos at the moment. Yuri seems to be managing very well with that wing damage. Still within DRS of Daniel, who is in DRS of Jacko, who's now lost 3 seconds to this chasing pack. But let's quickly go on board with Jamie. Oh, Jamie making a move on Quinn with the benefit of DRS. Florian stays behind in P4, but those guys are just pulling away, and with that benefit of DRS, I think Jamie's got the pace on those soft tyres to catch up to Ben Harrett. But further back, it's Mike ahead of Matt Shepherd, Harry, Robin. Dustin has dropped down to 13th, with Jess in the back at 14th. Then I believe Scott has lost a lot of time. He was within DRS. Oh, that's wide. Wide there from Jamie, I believe. He's going to have Quinn right on his gearbox yet again, as our first track limit time penalty of the day goes to Matt Shepherd. He really doesn't learn from Monaco, and he's picked up a 3 second, which will not be removed come the pit stops and come the end of the Grand Prix. They stay on your resume come the checkered flag. Right, Quinn, what can you do? Can you get back in front of Jamie? You don't really need to fight it too much. You've got Florian behind you on softs as well. You're making one less stop. I believe you've all got plenty of battery. You do indeed. Stay on board with Florian then. As they start lap 4 into La Source. But nothing seeds of it. Best place to do an opportunity of overtaking is down towards the Lacom, down the Camel Straight. Quinn then, right on the gearbox, a lot closer than what Jamie was a couple of laps ago. I believe this is going to be easily done. Will Jamie be burning any battery? He does not. I think they're both going to be burning battery. They're going to go side by side. We're right on board with Funky. Will he get 1, 2 or 3 cars? He runs into the back of Quinn. Does he pick up any damage? We'll go on board of the broadcast. I do love the helicopter shot, but it's not very good at making me look at see if they've got any wing damage. From the visuals at the moment, he has none, so he'll be able to stay with this pack quite easily. With this battling, Ben Harrett leads the way by 2 seconds now on those mediums, and they're probably going to be coming into their own now compared to the soft tyres. Everyone can now box for their first pit stop at the end of this lap. And we might see some soft tyres runners doing so just to get that undercut on as we go back towards the midfield. Matt Shepherd on the back of Mike. Mike not yet to get into that DRS window of Sullivan Lewis, but Yuri might be looking at a move on Daniel. He's right on the gearbox here as they run through Blanchemont. Not using any battery, only hitting 190 mile an hour realistically. Must be running a little bit more downforce than he should do, trying to do the under and over on those medium tyres. Does he have the better traction? Not at this stage. A little bit loosey-goosey, but he does have DRS. But with that battle, with that low speed through Blanchemont, I think that wing damage is probably hurting him a little bit. Sullivan Lewis has got himself into the fight, back on board with the front. Danny Quinn now looking for an easier overtake on Jamie Griffiths. Will he get the move done? He does. Nice and cleanly this time. Well clear into the braking zone of Lacombe. Quinn back up to second, but essentially net P1 further down the field. Yuri has managed to get by Dan with the benefit of DRS. Sullivan not being able to follow it through. Oh, there's a little bit side by side further behind between Matt Shepherd and Robin. Matt Shepherd fighting back into Brussels. Oh, there's a little bit of contact, nearly spins Robin around, and that contact has allowed, oh, Dustin through, but Dustin spins and he's into the wall. Has recovered very well there and didn't lose that many positions. He must have corrected it very nicely. Did he get any damage? He must have kept it out of the wall. Well, fair play to you there, Dustin. Didn't want to be ending your race early this time around. But what can Yuri do now? He's now got ahead of Dan. Can he manage to pull away? Is he able to pull away? Can he catch Jacko for P5? He's battling Jacko for P2 at the moment due to having to take that less pit stop. One less pit stop than the rest of the field. Ooh, risky. Round the outside as Dan pulls into the pits for our first pit stopper of the race. First mandatory, done and dusted. Anyone else think of following suit? I don't think they will. Would it be a nice tidy pit stop? What tyres they decide to go on to? Medium tyres. My controller's vibrating for some reason, because it does that for some reason now when a driver has a pit stop. Even in spectator mode, my controller is vibrating, even though I have vibrations off. Ooh, back at the front, we have a swap for position. Funky has managed to get by. Got by Jamie. As Quinn has managed to, well, it did manage to pull the gap on these two battling. Oh, and that's Funky into the wall. Does he pick up any damage? Can he keep it in a straight line? That might be those soft tyres done and dusted at the moment. Him will probably pit. We've got a safety car. What is that for? Why have we got a safety car? Who crashed? Who's crashing in my race? Why have we got a safety car? Unless it was due to the simulation. Yeah. I think that's the right word. Of yellow flags across the circuit. But first safety car of the race at the end. Coming to the end of lap 6. Will we see some pit stoppers? I expect all of the soft runners, anyone on softs at the moment, should be diving in. However, you are allowed to put on the safety car. One mandatory safety car pit stop is allowed per race. So I expect those soft tyre runners to be boxing. Will we see any front wing changes as well? So I expect Jamie, Funky, should I say Florian, Mike, Robin, Bazza and Dustin all to be in the pits. I believe Dustin might have been the cause of that safety car because he is now down in 14th. Where is he? There he is. Does he have? He has no front wing, so that will be the cause of the safety car. He'll be getting a fresh nose, fresh tyres, and a Jacko taking the opportunity, and Yuri and Sullivan all taking the opportunity of a safety car pit stop. They're going onto the hard tyres. That is their one and only mandatory stop completed. They'll be taking those hard tyres to the end. Not too sure why Jess decided to go into hards. She did start on medium, so it makes sense. And because of that illegal overtake that Dustin caused, he's going to have to wait 10 seconds. I bet it feels like an age in the pit box waiting for new tyres onto the fresh mediums for him. He'll be at the back of the grid. But luckily, because it's a safety car, he will be catching back up to the pack. Right then, Mr. Ben Spurs, what do you plan on doing? You've caught up to the safety car, so if you do decide to box, you will be probably right at the back of the field by the time you get round to the pit stops. Is this a strategic masterclass from Quinn? He will have to make one more stop compared to Jacko, Yuri and Sullivan, but he will have better tyres come the end. But as we know, the hard tyres last the whole Grand Prix. Another safety car does come out further on in the race. That will help Quinn, but it won't have track position when he does come to box, because everyone would have closed back up. So only 2 drivers not to make a pit stop. 3 drivers not to make a safety car pit stop. Ben, Danny and Scott. Scott up to P6 now without having not made that pit stop. He gets track position, but he's still got to make 2 stops. I think Dan boxed at the right time. Rico as well. They still have a safety car stop. One more stop to make for both of them. I think Dan will be looking to push all the way until the end of lap 18. It is the end of lap 18. Do not be boxing at the end of lap 17. Box at the end of lap 18. That is when you will be able to make your second mandatory pit stop of the race. Everyone else will be looking for fresh tyres. As Scott now decides to make a pit stop. Scott, why didn't you box the lap before? And then you would have held track position, but instead you're just going to go all the way to the back. It blows my mind sometimes. I know Jacko gives you a hard time at work, but come on, man. Think about it. And Rico making his second pit stop, but for Rico, because he's already made his first, and it's not a safety car stop either because it's already non-mandatory. He just wants that fresh rubber to run all the way to the second stage. So we've had the end of lap 7. Ben Harriet decided to stay out. He just wanted to play off point with. I think that's what Quinn wanted to do. If Quinn stayed out and Ben boxed, Quinn would take that point. I think Ben was thinking strategic for the playoffs to get those extra points. Come towards the rounds that are crucial in the playoffs. Ben, what are you doing? Do you want to get disqualified overtaking the safety car? I think you do. I think it would be absolutely hilarious if you decide to overtake the safety car and got disqualified, because you would have been a mug. But 4 drivers on hards, everyone else on mediums. Ben and Quinn, the only 2 drivers not to make a mandatory stop so far. 1 more to make for Quinn, and 2 more to make for Ben. That could harm him. There's not many laps here at Spa, and the earlier you can make a pit stop, the better, especially if you have to make 2, because of how long the circuit is. It limits the number of laps, and when there's a safety car at this stage, it's not going to help Ben in the slightest. So we'll see what he can do. There's still a long way to go. A safety car is going to come in at the end of this lap, and I'm sure the safety car restart line is at the exit at the final corner, probably where the DRS line is. Here we get to control the speed. Drivers are probably losing tyre temperature left, right and centre, especially those on the hards. They're going to be a real struggle to get up to temperature. Watch your weaving as well. You're not allowed to weave more than 2 car widths on the track, as a lot of drivers still fail to do in the Cup Series. I'm not mentioning any names. Arnold. Yes, I've thrown you under the bus, as you threw yourself under the bus at the Super Speedway last Thursday. I do love this game though. A nice flashing yellow graphic in the top left for the safety car. So apologies to anyone watching that could be affected by that. But here we go then. Ben's going to get this restart underway. Does he wait? Oh, risky. What are you doing? Why are you making overtakes under the safety car? You've just ruined your own race. You're going to have to now win. Oh, he's boxed. He's like, oh, dive bomb from Jacko. That's a bit naughty from Jacko there. 3 wide on the exit of turn 1. I think risky just blew my mind with what he did under the safety car. But Jacko's got half a front wing now on the hard tyres as we go up. Eau Rouge and Radion. Oh, and there's been a big crash. Does Jacko keep it out of the wall? He doesn't, but keeps it. Keeps it. All 4 wheels on the track. Florian is out after that contact between the two. Not gonna lie, Jacko, I'm not sure what you're thinking here. You might be the owner of the league, but it doesn't mean you can do what you want. And that's not only ruined one person's race, but yourselves. Yuri, however, up to P6. Risky going on to the mediums. He's thrown the Joker out the window, deciding to get rid of that 10-second penalty. Probably the smart decision. But will he be able to run mediums to the end of the race? I hope so. But there's an opportunity here for Ben Harrett and Quinn all to make their pit stops. Quinn had a really poor restart. He's dropped down to 5th. Jamie back up to 2nd. Mike up to 2nd. Mike up to 3rd. And Robin fighting for the basically what usually in Formula 1, the final points paying positions, are now up on the podium. Things you love to see. This is Jackocar at its finest though. Mixing it up. But Jacko with half a front wing, surely going to be boxing, throwing away the Joker, fresh front wing, and we'll be going to the end on probably a set of medium tyres. I think that safety car is going to help Sully's race as well. He would have been 25 seconds off the pack. And with the safety car, gets the bunch back up. So Jacko into the box. Yes. Who else in the box? Danny Quinn into the box. Very sensible. He should be going on to a set of hard tyres now to the end. Jacko will probably go on to a set of mediums. But Ben Harrett, not sure what you're playing at, fella. If you wanted to win this race, it's not probably going to happen now. You've still yet to make those 2 mandatory stops. You'll probably be able to do 2 sets of soft tyres. But you're going to have to make that first stop sooner rather than later, because it's just going to ruin your race. But as we know, safety cars breed safety cars, as we've just seen, where we barely made it up the hill after chaos from the league owner. Quinn, having made that pit stop, dropped down to 14th, but he can go to the end. So, your net race leader at this stage, the Dutchman, who loves Spa-Francorchamps, Yuri Hazelager. It's your race to lose, my fella. Everyone behind you, you've got a nice juicy gap of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars between you and Danny Quinn. And we know what Danny Quinn is like. He can be a little bit heated trying to push for overtakes. That's what I used to be like. You just need to stay calm and pick your opportunities to overtake. You will get the moves done if you take your time. Otherwise, you're just going to get damaged. And then ruin your race even more. Jess boxing must have picked up a bit of damage. Maybe the hard tyres were not the tyres she wanted to go on. So she's gone to a fresh set of mediums. Jacko on mediums, probably to the end. And Sully on his old set of hards. He made that pit stop to serve his 10-second. But now back onto the hards to run to the end. He should be able to catch up to the pack. But I expect us to do one more lap. And that's the safety car said it's coming in. I see flashing lights. But the safety car is not flashing on my screen. We will see. It'll probably do one more lap as we've got to wait for Sully. They're both in a party. Sully, Yuri, Rico, Matt Rosemond, all in the party, communicating with each other. And just so you know, guys, it's not always me that crashes into the Team Speed drivers. They do it to themselves. As Ben Spurs Ben Harrett now finally makes his first pit stop. Don't know why you're doing it now. A little bit too late. You're going to be at the very back of the grid. But some of the best drivers can do last to first, especially around this track. But you do have to make another pit stop. So there's your first mandatory, done and dusted, on the safety car. So I believe, other than Rico and Dan, everyone else has made a mandatory stop on the safety car. Everyone else is now hoping there's no more safety cars. And if I was Dan or Rico, I would be hoping for a safety car at about lap 17 or 16. I'd be hoping for a safety car, because then at the end of 18 you'll be able to make a pit stop. No one else will be able to make a mandatory, and it'll be you versus Yuri, Danny and Jacko for the win. And so stop being an umpty. Ooh, naughty, naughty. Paul McGuinness. I'm just looking on my phone as we wait for the safety car to come in, probably at the end of this lap. Paul McGuinness. Ex-Cup, ex-Kia driver. What year is this? It's 2024. It's not 2008, Paul. Stop poking me on Facebook. What are you doing, man? So, into the race lead goes Jamie Griffiths. He has racked up now a playoff point for leading a lap, albeit on the safety car. I believe, Ben, if you had stayed out another couple of laps, you would have got a playoff point for most laps led. You don't really just need to win, you just need to keep racking up the playoff points to give yourself as much of an advantage when the points reset going into the playoff season. But I think this will be Jamie's first restart ever, unless he's done it in the Cup. He's got fellow Cup driver Mike Kelterborn behind him. He's got two Germans behind him. Oh dear. The Welshman versus the German for the restart at the end of lap 11. Halfway through this race now. Would you believe it? We've been going for, or streaming for nearly an hour. And we're only halfway through the race, albeit a 20-minute qualifying session. But can Jamie get a nice, good launch compared to Ben? Mike wants to go for a little switchback, nice and slow through the bus stops. When will he go? The start-finish line's coming up very close, and he's gone. Oh, and loss of back end there for Robin. He drops down not one but two positions. Excellent restart for Yuri. He's up to third, a little bit deep into La Source, but keeping it in shape, and he's got to keep within 1 second of the drivers ahead. Will we see any side-by-side through Erosion Radion? I don't think we will. Rageman dropped back down to 6th. Any overtakes, but we got an overtake for the lead. Mike has got into the lead with the use of overtake. What can Yuri do? He's been squeezed to the inside, back to the outside, into... Oh, and there's contact, Jamie round. Nearly, but it's very easy to catch the car. Yuri, that might be an illegal overtake, which is why he's letting back through, because he had to cut the corner. Luckily, he didn't pick up an instant 3-second time penalty for taking avoiding action. A little bit annoying when you have to take avoiding action, but as we have seen side by side into Les Combs, it's not seeming to work between drivers, especially if trying to go side by side with Mike. But Robin is racing here in Jackocar, and that's what we love to see. We like to see a little bit of respect. We like to see respect between drivers, but just don't kill each other on track, because that's where things get a little bit messy come the end of the Grand Prix, especially in the stewards. Ben Harrett already up to 11th place. Risky only up to 16th on that restart. So no progress realistically made for the Joker drivers of Sullivan and Quinn, and he's had contacts, I believe, with Jess. He's got no front wing, a very dirty car, and into the box he must go for a fresh front wing. That must be any chance of race win out the window for Quinn. don't retire in the pit lane. If you do retire in the pit lane, we're being very strict on the rules. Retiring in the pit lane will give you, I believe, 1 or 2 race ban. It might even be 3. So don't be retiring in the pit lane as race. Fozzie Bear, side by side. Will they go side by side? Up the hill. I think Dustin's gonna hold back for now. Ben Harrett already up to 9th position, and Yuri already out of 1 second, as we look like nearly going 3 wide into Les Combes this time. Yuri gets the position up to 2nd place. He's in net P1 with Dan P3, Jamie now down to P4. A nice little DRS train forming here. Ben and Dustin battling once again within the wake of Matt Rosamond's Aston Martin. Ben spurs up the inside. Lovely move there. A wash of understeer for Matt Rosamond. Not losing 1 but 2 positions. He's down to 10th. But I think he'll take finishing this Grand Prix, with it being, I believe, his first race on F1 24 after he's been complaining about it all day. Right then, now that we've all settled down a little bit, I hope we've settled down a little bit. No more carnage, please. Jamie and Dan going side by side. Jamie getting the move done through Blanchimont, I believe. I wish we had a replay function on this game. It'd make it a lot better to catch the action, as Yuri sets the fastest lap. At the moment, bonus playoff point going to yours truly at this stage, but I expect Ben Harrett to be snatching that as Jacko gets overtaken by Harry. They're having a little squabble. Jacko on a recovery after a very poor restart. But here we go then. What can Matt Shepherd do? He gets involved as well. Jamie's down to 5th. He hasn't got DRS. The drivers ahead do. And that's Jamie down to 5th. Dan up to 3rd. Matt Shepherd up to 4th. Can he get his back-to-back podiums here in the Kia Series this season? It's good form as long as you can. It's not always about winning the race. If you have a good race and a bad race, and same a decent race, you can still fall short. But if you consistently get in good races, you'll make yourself up into the playoffs without needing a race win. You just need to get those playoff points for the playoff season. You're to Mike, but he doesn't really need to, because Mike needs to make 1 more pit stop. You just got to watch out for the drivers behind. Yellow flag, sector 2. Who's that for? Bazza. Having a little mistake. And he's now got Jacko right behind him. Battle of the white and lime green, it seems to be. What will Jacko do? We'll go on board with him. Will he look for a move through Blanchimont? Bazza goes right, he goes left. Jacko's got the slipstream, the overspeed. Had to do a little lift not to run into the back of Bazza. Will Jacko go for the braking around the outside? Well, a little bit too far back here to see that. But Jacko not making the move, as they all get a little bit out of shape on the exit of the bus stop. And now Baz is on the attack on Harry Collier. Late lunge up the inside. Baz, will he get it stopped? You've turned in too early. You've somehow managed to cut turn 1. You've hit the wall. And I'm not sure whether you've got any wing damage. You've lost the position to Jacko. And now Jacko might be able to try and get not 1 but 2 cars. He's got Matt Rosamond and Harry up ahead with the use of the battery, the slipstream, the DRS. Will he get 1? Will he get 2? It's going to be nearly 3 wide. Matt Rosamond gets mugged on the straight. Oh, nearly missing his braking point. But fantastic move there by Jacko, having the inside towards Les Combes. 2 positions in 1. I've got to give you a round of applause for that. Well, that sounds like it's not a round of applause. Sounds like something else. Bazza now on the inside of Rosamond, clips the rear wheel, keeps the car in a straight line, but Bazza falling all the way back as Jamie now picks up a penalty, which joins Matt Shepherd and Mike Kelterborn at the front with penalties. Newgarden. So here comes Bazza again. Does he want to get the move done? Ben Spurs now up to 6th. He's got Dan up ahead of him. Let's see what Ben can do. Here they go for the move up the inside. Oh, a little bit of contact between the two of them. Into Blanchimont. Will Dan fight this back? Ran a little bit wide there, Ben. That might be a track limit warning. On the brakes. The soft tyres are starting to work now for Ben. But they're going to start dying off soon. So he's going to have to get as many positions as possible. 46.5, that is the fastest lap. And that will be a bonus point for him come the end of the Grand Prix, as long as he can hang on to it. But no, Jacko snatches it with his double overtake down the Kemmel Straight. Manages to snatch. We got yellow flag sector 1. I believe that is Scott at the back. Jacko and Fozzie Bear. Jacko making another position with the benefit of DRS. He's up to 8th place. I wouldn't count Jacko out just yet. These medium tyres are really starting to cook for him. And he's only... Let's have a look at the leader. Gap to leader. Then take off 3 seconds. He's only 6.5 seconds off Yuri. Yuri does have the drawable tyre, but Jacko is making these medium tyres work. Now up next for him will be Robin. And then Dan and Ben Harrett. Yeah, flag sector 2. That is Robin. Speaking of Robin, that's the position for Jacko, Dustin and Harry. He's now dropped down to 10th. Not sure whether he's picked up any damage. No damage from what I can see. But we're getting towards the end of the first stage to start the second stage. This is where we'll be seeing drivers making their final pit stops of the race. Let's get on to Ben Spurs. He is on the back of Jamie. He was looking for the inside into the bus stop. Be sensible, Ben. You've got the softest tyres of the lot, freshest tyres of the lot ahead of you. You've got the benefit of DRS. Bit of a waste of using overtake there. I would have just started harvesting, put it into probably none, because you're going to have the benefit of DRS slipstream to possibly not get one but 2 cars. Just do what Jacko did. What can he do? Will he get... He's burnt all his battery and now he's not burning again, but we know Jamie is. Jamie, to get by Matt Shepherd, loses a position. Will Ben go for a late lunge up the inside? Not quite late enough to sneak a wheel alongside Matt Shepherd, as now Quinn steals the fastest lap. He's at the back of the grid. That'll be a point season. As Harry Collier. Oh, as Adam Mayer. Through Les Combes. Probably going side by side. And he's dropped down to 14th place. Ben Spurs has managed to get... Why do I switch from Ben to Harry? And now Ben has managed to get by... Cool, boys. By Matt. Ben on a charge. He was at the back and is now up to 4th in the space of 6 laps. Good on him. But can he get to the front? That's the question. Can he stay within DRS of Jamie? He's currently out of it. Jamie will love that. But we'll have to see into the braking zone. I don't think he'll get DRS on this straight. He does. He's a lucky numpty. Did he get it? He didn't. And Matt Shepherd did. And I think Jamie is going to hold on for another lap, because he managed to pull another 2 tenths, 3 tenths on Ben. And I think Ben's going to become a sitting duck now, because those softs are really going to start to wear. We're at the start of the second stage. Mike Kelterborn getting the stage point, an extra bonus point for himself by leading the end of lap 17. It looks like Ben might become a cropper to Matt Shepherd. He's going to squeeze him to the inside at Les Combes. I don't think Matt's got the straight line speed, but he's going to be on the brakes. Nice and tidy, clean between the two of them, leaving each other enough spacing room to go side by side. But the driver who has the outside into this first part of Les Combes will have the inside for the next part, and you can just carry a little bit more speed, hold position, and then nice and comfortable. But with that side by side, they're not really closing in on Jamie. He's going to have to box. And there are only going to be 4 laps to go. So, Mr. Y Racer, Mr. Yuri, Mr. Hazelager, whatever you want to be called. It's all in your hands now. No pressure, sunshine. You are going to have a comfortable lead once everyone boxes. Expect everyone to box, because we've only got 4 laps left. I'm sure everyone will be going on soft tyres for a final sprint to the end of the race. I think Ben's going to get at least P2, maybe P3 out of this. Where's Sully? Sully's down in 11th. It's a very short pit lane. Mike into the box. Jamie, box. Ben, box. Matt Shepherd, box. Will Dan, box. He does. Jacko stays out. Joker. Oh, Dustin and Rageman trying to fight into the pit lane. Everyone else is going to box. Sully stays out. Newgarden in. Bazza. Pretty much everyone's going to be in to the box. Quinn will probably stay out. He's got fresh mediums. He's going to go to the end. But will he make up any positions? Because Mike's going to come out only 6 seconds behind Jacko. Oh, Jacko. Better get your elbows out, sunshine. You got a German hot on your tail. Sully only managing to promote himself up to 4th. But he's got Jamie, Ben, Matt Shepherd, Dan, all on fresh softs within 5 seconds of him. It's going to be squeaky bum time for the final few laps. But is there enough time? It is a long lap. Is there enough time to optimise these soft tyres and get to a position where you can get on the podium? I think Ben Spurs will probably get on the podium as he goes side by side with Jamie. Jamie has the inside, but great traction on the outside for Ben Howard there. Up to P5. It will be a net P4 at this stage, but he's got to get within 3 seconds of Mike to get himself on the podium. But can they catch Jacko? I don't think they'll catch Yuri. They're going to have to be doing 3-4 seconds a lap if they want to do that. I don't think that's going to be the pace difference between the two of them. But it's going to be battle of second place here in the Kia Series. I'm just going to stay on board with Ben, see what he can do. He's going to be really risky on those 11 lap hold hards. Damage limitation here for Sully after picking up that 10-second time penalty for overtaking on the yellow flags, I believe. Unless something stupid happened. You served it, can't be removed, otherwise you'd probably win the Grand Prix. Right then, Ben Howard shaping up. Sully. You don't want to be getting time penalties. You're in the lead. You're in the lead by 9 seconds, fella. You don't want to be getting time penalties. Don't want to be taking any risks. You don't need to be taking any risks. Sully lets Ben through. Will that give Sully DRS? I'm not sure where the detection point is. But let's have a look. Ben didn't get DRS. Sully did. And here comes Jamie. 3 wide down the Kemmel Straight. Will Jamie get 2 in 1? Excuse me. Into the braking zone. And he does. Ben has been made an absolute mug there by Sully by losing DRS. But he's on the inside. Into Brussels. And with the better grip, better traction, better exit, gets the position. And now on the hunt of a podium. Because there's 6 seconds now. Because of this battling, 6 seconds behind Mike. They need to get within 3. Just double checking penalties. Yeah, they're only 3 seconds at the moment. Whoa, Ben trying audaciously to get by Jamie as quickly as possible. There'll only be 2 laps left come the end of this. And Ben will want to get within 3 seconds of Mike to get a podium out of this. That gap is not really closing in between Jamie and Mike. Mike's got the pace. Albeit complaining about this game, he seems to have the pace as he sets the fastest lap. He is absolutely flying. And not only does he need to catch Jacko, he needs to overtake him and pull a 3-second lead. Whoa, mind games here from Jamie. Letting Ben through. You do have a 3-second time penalty, but with this squabbling, the gap's just getting bigger and bigger to Mike. Mike's not in DRS just yet. Harry Colley with the fastest lap. But here we go then on board with Jamie. He's going to get the position back with the use of DRS and overtake just to hold him up a little bit more. Mike has lost half a second there. He was just creeping on 1 second to Jacko, whether he's made a little bit of a mistake through Laycom, but gains that time back with the better grip through No Name and into Puon. Can he get in DRS? He gets in front of Jacko. I don't think he'll pull the 3 seconds. Oh, don't lose it now, Mike. You've got a pretty much guaranteed podium on the board here. As long as you keep it within the white lines, don't get a 3 second time penalty. Because if you do, you might fall into the clutches of Ben Harrett, who's right on the back of Jamie once again as they run through Stavilo down towards the bus stop chicane for the penultimate time, as Yuri is about to start the final lap. No move from Ben into the bus stop. Probably not going to play the DRS chicken mind games with Jamie again. Or will he? Or will Jamie just let him have it? Who knows? What will Ben do? Will he go for the move, or he's just going to stick behind him? Just remember, you can get a little bit more audacious. Oh, Jamie, what are you doing, fella? You got a 3 second time penalty. You keep battling like this, you might lose a position to Dan behind. Yes, you're going to have the benefit of DRS. Yellow flag sector 3. That is for Rico, I believe, at the back, having a little spin out of Stavilo. But here comes Jamie once again. We'll go on board with Matt Shepherd. Look at them go side by side. Will there be any contact between the two of them? Oh, Ben Harris squeezed them. They're both off the track. A little bit naughty from both of them. If Ben had made the corner, I'd say fair play. But Ben didn't even make the corner. So that might be a bit of an issue there, as they're both trying to run each other off the road for P4. Mike right on the back of Jacko. Will he go for some more audacious? I think if I was Jacko, just let him go. Yes, Jacko, use your brain. Let him go. And he has done, and you'll secure yourself a P2 in this race. Yellow flag sector 1. That might be Quinn out of Laycom. Or is it risky? Oh, it's Sully. Oh, Sully. I think he was pushing for the fastest lap. I don't know why he boxed, to be fair, mate. He would have got a decent amount of points. As we know, in Jackocar, there's never been a back-to-back. Oh, you. He wins the Belgian Grand Prix. He sends himself into the playoffs here in the final season of the Kia Series. It's going to be Jacko in P2. Mike with an outstanding race from himself into P3. Jamie, what happened to Ben? Ben, what did you do? Jamie will be P4. Matt Shepherd P5. Ben Harrett P6. Dan P7. Robin P8. Dustin P9. Newgarden on his return will come home P11 after a penalty. Harry Collier up to P10. Jess overtakes Bazza due to penalties into P12. Bazza 13th. Scott will be 14th. Sully Sully with an audacious move around the outside of Scott. He gets the move done. Oh, Scott. Scott. For crying out loud, Scott. What are you doing? You've just... Oh, and Quinn... I don't know what Quinn's doing. Quinn will take 15th. Scott is having a mare. I think he'll finish 17th. Rico up to 16th. What a race. And hopefully you've heard all of my commentary, because with my mic disconnecting a few times, I don't know whether you heard me. I hope so. I really hope so. Yeah. There he is with his bitch basic overalls on the podium with Jacko and Mike. The two-time Kia Series champion back on the top step of the podium in his return full-time to Kia. He gets himself through to the playoffs. He joins Ben Harrett, and not only does he secure 5 playoff points for the win. He secures an extra 5 for completing it on the Joker with that one-stop strategy. Jacko will be happy with the podium. He gets a playoff point for finishing on the podium. Yuri will be getting an extra playoff point as well for leading the laps as well. I believe most laps led is going to go to Ben Harrett, so he'll be happy with that, because realistically, the regular season points don't seem to matter anymore for him, and they won't seem to matter for Yuri. They just want to go for as many playoff points to help him in the playoff season after round, I believe, 10? Yeah, after round 10. That is it. I'm sweaty, and I bet these drivers are even more sweaty, and I've only been sat here talking to myself. That's what happens when you wear a headset in this humid UK weather. Radio. Before we end the stream, let us get the calendar up. Where will we be next week for the Kia Series? It's going to be the Bahrain Grand Prix. Gareth Hall should be back in the lead com box. I, unfortunately, will not be available as I will be on holiday. However, I could be doing live commentary from this week's race winner right behind him. No, I'm joking. Whether he'll have me or not, I'll be in the Dutchland, not the Deutschland, the Dutchland, the Yuri land, the Rico land, from on holiday from Friday. But I will be back for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on the 27th of August. Tune in live, where me and Gareth will be taking you through round 4 for the Yas Marina circuit. Be sure to tune in on Thursday for the Cup Series as they begin to tackle Silverstone, the Grand Prix. And I think no one, or maybe even one person, chose it as a joker, which is quite a shock, because Gareth Hall loves to proclaim that Silverstone is the best track to choose a joker at. Yes, getting my digs in while he's not here, as he does with everyone else on the grid. I've been your commentator, Peter Narden. Thank you all for tuning in and watching live. And if you're watching it as a video after, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Like the video, share it with your friends for some cracking racing. Plenty more races to come here on the Jackocar channel for Kia and Cup. Thank you, and all have a pleasant evening, day, week, month, year, however it may be.